feeling cold against your skin. Running through the chaos, letting all the sin. Temptation in a bottle, ready for the night. Craving for the thrill, it's time to ignite. Dark desires burning bright. Echoes in the dead of night. No retreat, no looking back on this heart attack.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, how are you? Good to be back. I am so sorry. We were having some camera issues. Could not for the life of me get the camera to connect. It was just sitting here uh, rebooting, and I was like, why is the camera not turning on? But we got it working in the end. How are you all? Good to see you on a little early tonight, which is welcome. I'm happy to be here, not at 3 a.m. in the morning, which is great. Some breaking news. I don't know if everyone saw this recently. This is a hell of a turn of events for the Human trial. I don't know if this is true. Here, I'm going to put it up on the screen while I get set up. I don't know if you guys saw this come out the other hour. They said that he's going to plead guilty. This is interesting. Uh, I never expected him to plead guilty. He's expected to enter a guilty plea in the serial killings April 8th, and according to a source familiar with the matter, court records show an appearance scheduled for that day. Two sources close to the case also confirmed the expected plea. Interesting, really interesting. I wonder why, if he has maintained his innocence like it says here, why now willing to change all that? If you are so, uh, so sure that you're innocent, why now? Why now change your plea? It's really strange. I don't know what could have provoked. I mean, we know what he's done for the last like 18 months, 2 years. He's basically directed his lawyers to try and discredit all of the evidence. They've been trying to split the cases up to get separate trials for each one. They've been trying to get DNA evidence thrown out. Maybe since all those tactics didn't work, he's now like, well, we have nowhere else to go. I That's one thing I can think of, is that, maybe he would have been willing to take it on as not guilty if he had won some of those preliminary court battles to have things separated. Or it's very interesting. I I I thought we're going to trial. I really did. I thought for sure September this year we were heading for a blockbuster trial. I don't know. What do you guys reckon? Like, there's nothing to confirm it here, but they're saying that they have three independent sources who are all saying the same thing, that he is going to change his plea on April 8th. Let's see. Nope. The expectation. Yeah. Apparently he was at a routine court appearance last week. He did not appear. His attorney said at the time he was having health issues. I don't. Well, even if he was having health issues, he's not getting out of jail. It's not like he can get a plea deal and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna get out of here in like 4 weeks." Well, that's not happening. He's not getting out of there anytime soon, even if he does plead guilty. So, wonder what it is. Maybe we'll find out on April 8th. Well, in some ways, I'm disappointed because I would have liked to have uh, known what the authorities know about him, with a maybe that's what it is. Maybe after all these legal battles failed, all these things to try and like separate the trials into individual trials to get all the evidence, trying to get evidence thrown out. Maybe he doesn't want the whole world knowing what the cops know. Maybe there's a whole bunch more things he might find embarrassing that he doesn't want the wider world You know, because this thing's if this went to trial, it'd be an explosive trial. It'd be one of the biggest trials in the last, I don't know, half a century. It'd be massive. Uh, I I wonder if that's what it is. Maybe he doesn't want to embarrass his wife or ex-wife or whatever she is now. Maybe he doesn't want to embarrass her and the children with a lot more evidence that was going to come out. Interesting, but apparently it's coming from victims' families. They're the ones reporting this. Here, I'm going to take you out to Newsday. They got a little snippet here. Oh, I've been selected for 25 cents for 6 months. Oh my god, how could I say no to that? That's alright, we can't watch it, but, I'll get you a different one. What does it say here? Oh, I've been selected again. Oh my god, how I feel so lucky. What does it say? Yeah, just the family members. It's saying family members have been notified that the alleged killer is going to change his plea. I love how, like, when you don't take their offer, it changes all the words to gibberish. Do you see do you see that in the background? It changes it all to, like, gibberish words. Here, I'll get a different source. "Damn you, Newsday. How dare you? How dare you make me feel special and then say, 'No. No, you can't.'"
A potential bombshell in the Gilgo Beach serial killer case. Sources telling ABC News Rex Heuermann may soon be changing his plea to guilty. Heuermann charged with the murders of 7 women. His next court appearance is set for April 8th. That's when a change in plea could happen. He was noticeably absent from a hearing last week. At the time, his attorney said only that Heuermann was on crutches and having health issues. The case is set to go to trial in September. Heuermann has been in jail since July of 2023.
Interesting. He's on crutches? I wonder what illness
Now that
he
they're
could
breaking
have. Does he have something like, gout or something like that that's affecting his feet? Yeah, what Rex Heuermann, I mean, he's an old dude and he's a big guy. Let's see, Rex Heuermann. Let's have a look. Apparently, he's been using crutches, since earlier this year. But they don't explain what is the health issue, just that he has been dealing with unspecified health issues in jail. I wonder what it could be. Look, like I said before, even if he pleads guilty, he's not getting out of jail. He's not going home. He's not going to go to a hospital. He's not going to get to go and recuperate at the family home in Massapequa. It's not happening. So I am a little bewildered on if all you were going to do is plead guilty, why did you drag everyone through 2 years of court battles? We could have saved a lot less information would have come out about him had he pled guilty, like indicated he was going to plead guilty 2 years ago. If he had done that, a lot less information would have come out because a lot of like things have been drip fed through the media and through court filings, battling these different fronts over the last 2 years. So I don't know. I'm happy for the families of the victims because it means they don't have to get dragged through what literally would be one of the craziest trials I think in a very, very long time. It would have been daily news fodder. There would have been hundreds of reporters. Being that it's not live streamed, there would have been the courthouse would have been packed. It would have just been 24 hours, 7 days a week for however long it took to get through. And the amount of evidence they've got, those multiple victims, it would have taken I don't know 3 months, maybe more. It would have been a very long trial too. So maybe that's got something to do with it. But I'm happy for the families that they don't have to sit through all that and deal with it all. I'm a little sad, on the other hand, in the true crime world, that we're not going to get to learn more about Rex Heuermann because I think a lot of us have been desperately waiting to learn a lot more about his offending against these women because we want to know the story. Like, how did these women get there? Um, how, more finer details than we know now. And unless unless New York will allow the release of the files after after he pleads guilty and he's sentenced, unless New York allows the release of all the probable cause affidavits and all that type of thing, we may never know. Now that he's going to plead guilty, we may never know the depth of information that the authorities have and what they would have presented at trial. So that's a bit disappointing on that angle. But I'm happy on the other angle that the families don't have to go through I'm telling you, it would have been a historic trial. It would have been massive. We'll have to wait and see. April 8th. April 8th, we'll find out if he actually does. I mean, if it's coming from the families and they're being told to expect a plea change, I don't see a reason to disbelieve them. I think it's probably real. Just the reasons of why. Why is he doing this? I just have a funny feeling it's probably embarrassment or something like that. So apparently he had court last week on Tuesday. They ended up adjourning that matter to April A. They're saying he could not attend last week due to a health issue. Must be a pretty bad health issue for him not to be able to get on a bus, get to court, and sit on a chair. It must be a pretty awful to make him not be there. I don't know, New York. I don't have a lot of I don't have a lot of experience with New York trials. I don't know. Let me check. Uh, oh well, we wouldn't go to trial. Okay. In New York, court case records generally become public record once a case is closed, allowing access to dockets, motions, and final dispositions. So yes, apparently they do. But again, we wouldn't get the trial documents, which would have to have been entered into evidence and then presented at trial. So we wouldn't get that. But we would probably get everything else that has happened over the past 2 years, which may provide some insight into him. Laura said, I hope the families have questions that he would answer them honestly, but doubt he would. Well, it's not a plea deal. It's not like he's getting a plea deal and then the families are like, well, we want answers as part of that plea deal. It's not a plea deal. He's just changing his plea. So he's going to change it from not guilty to guilty. That's it. It's not a plea deal as such where he's making a deal with the DA to get a certain amount of time, to get something, to avoid a trial. It doesn't seem to be that is what he is doing. Um, yeah, okay. Well, there you go. Breaking news. Rex Heuermann expected to plead guilty on April 8th. April 8th. We'll see. We will see. There you go. Breaking news. Hey, good to see you all. That was something that popped up on my radar just before we went live. And I thought, hey, let's talk about it very quickly. Sean gifted a membership. Thank you, Sean. By the way, Sean told me if I can bring this up on the screen. Sean told me that apparently if you are on Apple and you want to do that membership gifting thing, apparently if you open Safari on the page, the live stream, and then apparently if you tap AA and then click request desktop's site or website, and then you refresh this stream, it will give you the gifting thing for the chat if you're on a Apple device. So I hope that helps people who have been struggling with the why can't I gift memberships and things like that. So there's some very easy instructions you can try. All right. Okay. I want to get to our main topic tonight. And it's because we keep talking about youth crime. And I wanted to run you through what is actually going on and why are you hearing so much about it in the media, and what's the truth? What is the truth of actually um like this, what is going on in what part of the world as well? Because I think there's been a certain parts of the world have been dominating the headlines, making it seem like it's a larger problem than it really is. But that's not to say that in some parts of the world it is not a big problem, because it is. Now, I have some statistics here from around the world. Uh, in Yeah, that's not the one I want. That's the other one. Okay. Good work. Where's my paper? Give me a second, guys. I got another. That's my ones for a specific country, but we don't want that. We want the ones for around the world. Okay. All right. We have to reload it. Sorry about that. Okay. So around the world, approximately just under 200,000 homicides around the world are committed by what they consider young people. Now, what's the difference between youth offending and like young people? Well, it depends what country you're from. Some countries consider anyone up until the age of 21 to be a youth offender. Some countries around the world consider anyone under the age of 30 to be a youth offender. I don't know what you think of that, but that is what my research has told me, that depending on what country you go to, they have varying sort of cutoff dates of who is a youth offender and who isn't, which muddies the water a little bit on the statistics, because in my opinion, anyone over the age of 18 is an adult. But that is apparently how they do some of these statistics for the crimes. But here, so with youth homicide, just shy of 200,000 of them around the world each year are committed by people aged between 14 and 29. And that is a representation of 40% of all homicides globally. When you get down to people who are under the age of 18, that number is around 70,000 worldwide every year. That is a lot of homicides around the world that are committed by what I would consider teenagers, like young, like actually under the age of 18. That is a lot of, think of all those people who are gone out of the world. But while some countries in the world, like Australia, like the USA, have seen a increase in youth-led violence and crime, some countries have actually seen a decrease. Places like Latin America and the Caribbean have the highest child and adolescent homicide rates in the world, 4 times the global average. But some countries in Europe actually have the lowest. They are actually going backwards, a long-term decline, including Switzerland and Germany. Not places that I would have considered to have a declining youth crime, especially considering the things that are happening in Sweden. So in Sweden, Sweden's got a very high youth crime problem. It revolves around gang violence. But when you think about things like Switzerland and Germany, they're apparently, as the years tick by, they're declining. I consider them like, a first world Western type country. Same with Australia. Australia and the US. Sometimes people like to think we're very much part of the same world, even though we're not. What is the difference between Australia and the USA? The US actually has a decline in youth crime over the past 2 decades. And everyone's going to be like, oh my God, Ping, that's not right. You must have the wrong information. According to the statistics out of the courthouses in the USA, throughout the whole country, not just one state or another, throughout the whole country, youth crime is actually on the decline in the USA. What about Australia? In Australia, it's the opposite. Australia has seen an increase in youth crimes, about 4.5% over the last 5 years or so. It's about 4.5% throughout Australia. And I think that is very interesting when you look at why a country that a lot of people think is quite a violent country with a lot of violence, guns, that type of thing, is actually in some situations maybe safer than Australia. It sounds bizarre, right? But that is what the statistics are telling us, that um, America has a declining youth crime rate, especially for major crimes like homicide. Strange. I when I was looking through this earlier today, I was like, that can't be right. There's got to be more about that, but it sounds like it is true. All right. I want to tell you about why it's a problem here and what they're trying to do to address it, and then what some other countries have been doing. Where is my uh okay. Keeps closing my windows. It's very annoying. Okay. Uh Yeah. So here I'm going to teach you how it breaks down and where they're seeing the increase in youth crime. Youth crime in Australia is a complex trend. They're saying that it shows the total number of youth offenders. That's a different statistics, and this is where I'm telling you before, where the age ranges sort of float between different numbers, and it makes the statistics look different depending on how you look at them. In this particular one, age between 10 and 17 between 2024 and 2025 decreased by 5% nationally. And you'd be like, Ping, didn't you just tell us it went up by 5%? Yes, but when it is between 10 and 21, strange, right? So it's like, what would you think when you think of that? It's more some of the older youth causing that spike. So between 17 and 21. So you can kind of like boil it down a little bit more. And they're saying here in 2024 to 2025 in Australia, 44,583 young people were proceeded against by police nationwide, a 5% drop from 2023 to 2024. Most common, the most common act a young person might be charged with is assault. Most young people are charged with assault, accounting for 26% of all offending. Illicit drugs have decreased, and I'm going to tell you the ones that have increased. Anything involving a motor vehicle throughout all the states in Australia, carjackings or stolen vehicle offences have gone through the roof. 57.6% of all carjackings and 52.6% of all home invasions were committed by minors in Victoria in 2025. That's not just youth offending, that is every age. Out of all ages, 57.6% and 52.6% were youth offenders for carjackings and home invasions in Victoria. In Queensland, stolen vehicle offences increased by 91% and robberies by over 100.9% over 10 years in Queensland. In New South Wales, youth crime remained stable in the year of 24 to 25, but they had an increase in young people stealing from retail stores, like from shops, shoplifting. So New South Wales' biggest problem with youth offenders was shoplifting. Who would have guessed that? And in the Northern Territory, who have the highest rate of youth in detention, 17 per 10,000 people, and had the highest recidivism, 53% go on to commit another crime and end up being charged or put back behind bars. So where I'm from in Victoria, they introduced a new set of laws. Now, one of my followers emailed me this morning and said I should take a look at it. So I was like, okay, I'll take a look at it. Where is it? There was a new set of laws brought in at the end of last year in Victoria to try and address the crimes that I just told you about. And if I can find it, that is not it. Yeah, this is it though. So there was a new act brought in to deal with these crimes here. What they consider designated Category A and Category B serious youth offences. Category A, intentionally causing injury in the circumstances of gross violence, aggravated home invasion, aggravated carjacking, and then the Category B was recklessly causing injury in circumstances of gross violence, and then home invasion. Designated offenses committed by children aged 15 and over must be heard in a higher court. What does that mean? That means instead of being heard in a children's court, it'll be heard in an adult court. Designated offenses committed by children aged 14 are normally heard in the higher courts as well, unless there are compelling reasons not to do so. That could be safety reasons or mental health reasons, that type of thing. And I'll show you the act of what they. So this got brought in late last year. And I want to show you the legislation that they brought in. If I can get it to load for you. Here it is. It's called the Justice Legislation Amendment Community Safety Bill 2025. They all have really long names, apparently. Where is it? There it is. And I'm sorry about the white background. Apparently, government don't give you dark colored backgrounds. I'm not going to be on here for very long anyway. I just want to show you how one place where I live is trying to address the matter. And thank you to the person who emailed me this morning too. Um, so they're trying to increase the penalties by which certain offenses are punishable to make it an offense to use a knife in the commission of any of several specified indictable offenses, and then to provide that the theft of a vehicle is a carjacking if a child who is under the age of 10 is in the vehicle when it is stolen. So these are all escalators that can be put on and given more time in prison for these young people. And if I go down, yeah, here. So say here, you got done causing serious injury intentionally in circumstances of gross violence. It used to be level 3 imprisonment, 20 years maximum. They substituted it for level 2 imprisonment, 25 years as the maximum. And same with this one, they changed it from a level 4 to a level 3, 15 years to 20 years. And then aggravated home invasion, one of the big ones down here, changed from a level 2, 25 years maximum, to level 1 imprisonment, life in jail. You could get, if you are a youth offender and you get charged with this, you could get life in prison. Aggravated carjacking, change from a level 2, 25 years maximum, to level 1, life in prison. There you go. This one's interesting. Recruiting a child to engage in criminal activity was a level 5, 10 years maximum, but they've changed it to a level 4, 15 years. So you could you could go to jail for 15 years. Now, why would you recruit a child to do that? Yeah, I'm going to take you off the dark screen. Sorry about that. I mean the light screen. Why would you do that? Well, a lot of the crimes that have been happening down here, they have been recruiting people underage because they know they won't get in trouble. So they've been like getting these young people, paying them to commit crimes, blowing up a tobacco store, stealing cars, breaking into places, that type of thing. So, uh, interesting. So this is one state in Australia's. This is what they're trying to do to decrease those very high numbers that you saw that I read out to you before. So they're changing how some, not all, some of those offenses, like in that category A and B, how those are dealt with. And they're doing things like putting them through higher courts. So instead of going through the children's court, you will go to, I think it's the county court. I think it's the county court that you have to go to. Yeah, I'll take you out to see. They did a little video on it a little while ago.
Who commit violent crimes in Victoria will now face tougher penalties after new laws came into effect overnight. Stephanie Ferrier joins me now from Melbourne. Hi there, Steph. So just take us through which crimes are covered under this change.
Good morning, Melissa. This covers children as young as 14 charged with the most serious and also violent crimes as well across Victoria. Crimes like aggravated home invasion, aggravated carjacking, intentionally causing serious injuries. So they're crimes, for example, covering machete attacks and also repeated and serious armed robberies. And this follows a real surge in youth offending last year across Victoria, which really alarmed the Victorian community and called for widespread change. And the state government responded to that by introducing this so-called adult adult time for violent crime legislation, which is very similar to the adult time for adult crime laws that already exist up in Queensland. And effectively, it means that those really serious offences are moved from the Children's Court to the county court. That is where it's more likely that these young offenders will face jail time, and also their sentences will be longer as well. And that is because there is potentially a maximum penalty of life imprisonment for some of these most serious offences for those children, whereas previously the largest sentence that they'd face in the Children's Court was just 3 years jail. So there is quite a significant difference. It's something that victims advocates have said that has been long overdue.
So there you go. Yeah, things like a weapon, using a weapon, anything like that, you can now, instead of being dealt with in a children's court, where, like she said, you might get bail, you might get a suspended sentence, you have to join a program for young people. You do a crime that's severe enough, you do something that's, repeatedly, you do it more than, once, or you show that you're a repeat offender, you can't learn from your chances that the court have given you. You do something that's like so heinous, it could be very severe, and you could find yourself serving anywhere from 10 years in jail to 25 years or even life in prison, even if you are under 18 now in Victoria. Now, we already know in the USA, depending on the crime, you can be charged as an adult and have to serve time in an adult prison. We've seen it with with a bunch of high profile cases over there over the last, many, many years, including a lot of murders. So we have seen that. Um, but in America, why is it so different in America? Which I don't, you know, I don't know about you, but the outside image of America is, my God, you'll probably get shot and killed. And if you're a teenager, someone will come to your school and shoot it up, or you'll get killed by a gang shooting on the second corner on a Thursday in July. Like, it has a very negative stereotype. But when you look at the numbers over there, they must be doing something that is partially working in the US. And they say, though the number of youth confined nationwide has declined significantly over the past 20 years, our country still incarcerates far too many young people. Well, we'll see. It does so despite overwhelming evidence showing that incarceration is an ineffective strategy for steering youth away from delinquent behavior, and that higher rates of youth incarceration do not improve public safety. Incarceration harms young people's physical and mental health, impedes their education and their career success, and often exposes them to abuse. That's one way to look at it, I'm guessing. But that's from this charity that does a lot of work with youth offenders in the USA. But if we go just to October last year to the Police Executive Research Forum, and if we go to what they have to say on reducing juvenile crime, what does the law say? Law enforcement agencies continue to struggle with youth crime, and the problem can seem intractable for years. And they say during their Perth meetings and on research projects, law enforcement prosecutors, government officials, and others have expressed frustration around juvenile offenders and the lack of effective interventions to stop a young person's troubling behavior from escalating. Interesting to hear the cops' point of view, that they seem frustrated at the amount of youth offenders that they're having to deal with, even though their rate of incarcerated youth is very low. And they've been doing these projects trying to find ways of decreasing it even more. You can see there's multiple different PDs here. Longmont, Colorado. Who is this? Lincoln, Nebraska, Cedar Hill in Texas, Manassas City. We know that one. We know them very well. And Kansas City PD, they're saying here that what did they notice? Kansas City say that they have seen a significant number of unlicensed drivers, particularly in urban areas. Young drivers in urban areas are more likely to enter the court system for driving without a license. That's one of their big things, not carjackings and home invasions. They're saying one of their big challenges are people driving without a license. Interesting. What about Manassas Manassas Park? What do they say? Um, they want to talk more about at-risk individuals and behaviors, and they talk about things like absenteeism, dating abuse, and violence. I don't see any I don't see any carjackings on there. But yeah, just showing you like what the two different sides of the world are trying to work on in relation to youth offending. It's very interesting to see the very different approaches and sort of the information coming from the two different sides. These guys seem to be more interested in stopping it before it becomes a problem, but then dealing with like petty crime rather than some of the worst offenders. As where in Victoria, they seem to want to drive down those carjackings and home invasions. So very, very interesting that, and you can see they had this giant forum where they brought cops from all over the country. Although here, these challenges were forefront for the discussions at Perth 2024 National Summit on carjacking. And they talk about carjacking crisis, identifying causes and response strategies. Many people arrested for carjacking are juveniles, some as young as 12, and carjacking is usually violent, and most incidents involve firearms. Most of the offenders are youth, and that was from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and that's from their PD. We see a pattern where they have a lengthy arrest record for auto theft before they rise to carjacking. They're coming in saying it's no longer cool to simply steal cars. So we're kind of seeing an escalation in behavior. Interesting. Interesting that at least for this particular area, they seem to be having the issue that Victoria is having with these kids. I don't know if I've ever heard a kid say it's no longer cool to steal a car. So instead, do you know what I want to do? I want to carjack someone. I want to have a firearm and take their vehicle forcibly. It's strange. Missy, hey Missy, how are you? All right, we can take your mind off things. We can tell you statistics about why your area is crap. SPMI said crime reduction mostly comes from fear of being caught, educated policing, and social and economic improvements. It starts at home. Sean said juvenile detention centers aren't like a typical jail. No, they're not. But yeah, yeah, so I thought you guys might find that very interesting to see this and like how where I live is trying to take and tackle the problem. They're trying to introduce these, well, they have now introduced this new legislation to try and, I don't know if it's like fear, they're trying to drive the fear into these young people that if you get caught doing these crimes, you could go to jail for the rest of your life and ain't nobody going to help you. Once you're sentenced for it, that's it. Like you're gone. I don't know if it's like a hard line approach and they're trying to see if it drives down the rate here. But at least in Milwaukee, they apparently are suffering from a similar problem, even if the statistics nationally show that there is a decline in youth offending and young people ending up in jail. they still have these underlying issues as well, even though the statistics don't bear it out. I am interested in knowing about that, the carjacking thing. Oh, we can't get to it? Maybe we can if we do that. Wow, they produced a handbook on it through that Perth forum, the carjacking crisis, identifying causes and response strategies. Let's have a quick look. Sorry about the light backgrounds. Let's go to penalties. Juveniles versus adult. Let's go to page 24. All right. Is that 24? Where's our youth offending one? Did they have that? What was it? Page 24, yeah? I don't know. They said there was supposed to be a sidebar here with a thing about youth versus adult offending. Okay. Let's go back up here. Here. Okay, so in Prince George County, they said we had more adults arrested in 2020, but since that time, it's been more juveniles. Of those arrested in 2023, 147 were juveniles and 115 were adults. In 2022, 109 were juveniles and 108 were adults. What does that tell you? That tells you between 2022, it was quite even, almost exactly the same for juveniles and adults for carjacking. Then the year later, it was a almost one-third increase in juveniles being picked up for that crime compared to adults. Almost, what is it? 32 more juveniles were picked up than adults were. And they say, even though schools are back in session, carjackings continue among juveniles today. The reasons are complex, but in addition to truancy, they say in the region they have a truancy problem. Kids are committing those crimes for credibility, status, and something to do. And they said a big one is these juveniles are very smart and they know nothing will happen to them. Didn't we just talk about that in Victoria? And what are they trying to do? They are trying to strengthen their punishments and how the crimes are treated in a court of law because the children, youth down here have the same attitude that nothing is going to happen to them because they are under the age of 18. So I don't see these type of laws changing, not for carjacking and not for home invasion in America, but we know in America, if you commit a murder, you could go to an adult court. So interesting that they, even though when we look at the overall statistics, it looks like America is doing much better. They have all these low numbers and it's been declining for 20 years. And then you look at Victoria and you're like, oh my God, it's through the roof. They have like a 40% increase over 2 years. But when you dive down into the details, the problems between countries, at least to do with youth offending, very similar. It's very similar. Let me, yeah, here. How many carjackings did they have? They had, what county was that? Prince George. It's a pretty small county. They had, in 2023, they had 570 carjackings or 59.7 per 100,000 people. How many did Victoria have in the same year? Victoria carjackings 2023. Oh. In Victoria, it doesn't tell me how many were carjacking, just motor vehicle theft. Yeah, actually, maybe I can get it from here. Yeah, hold on. It didn't give me the number that I wanted, but apparently they had in 2023. In 2023, they had 18,259 motor vehicle thefts, but they don't give me how many were actually carjackings compared to cars stolen from a home. They don't say, but there you go, 18,000, and then we heard 570 carjackings in Prince George County in Maryland. I don't know how many that would be, but that they're saying it is 59.7 per 100,000 people. I would have to look up how many people are in Prince George County. Okay, we could do that. So times it by 9.6. 9.6. 59.7 times 9.6. Yeah, roughly what they say. So they said 2023 they had 570 carjacking, or roughly 59.7. Based on the population, it worked out to 573. So yeah, pretty close. And yeah, so you guys see, even in these different counties, Fairfax County, Montgomery County, they had a rise in youth carjacking. So I would like to know, and I know my statistics and information don't get you down to a reason why, but the cops seem to think it's got something to do with like cred, street cred, and like posturing, and like that one cop said, it's no longer cool to just steal a car. You have to like take it by force. You have to be cool. And I find that strange, but I'm pretty sure the cop would know. He's the one who has to deal with them every day. So yeah, that's interesting, right? But yeah, I thought that would be an interesting exercise to show you that sometimes the statistics don't always tell us the full story, and they don't always tell you what's lying underneath those, the numbers. They look great or they look scary, and you go, "Wow, look, that place is doing really well." And then when you break down into it, it's, well, maybe it's not doing so well. Wow, maybe they're also facing the same issues that everywhere else is dealing with. But yeah, there you go. Youth offending, it's not just a Victoria problem, it's not just an Australian problem. Seems to be happening everywhere. That's crazy. I didn't realize it was so bad in America either. Let's have a look. What was the UK? Because we haven't looked at that. UK. They got a lot of knife crime. I know that. UK youth crime year to year. In the UK, increased youth involvement. In 2025, there was a noted trend of organized criminal groups increasingly using children as young as 12 to commit vehicle crimes, including carjackings. Minors are often recruited because they are viewed as fast, fearless, and less likely to face the most severe adult charges. Huh, that's interesting. Where did we read something like that? Hi, it was in Victoria, where they said they now have a specific offense about recruiting children to commit these types of crimes, and they have upped the penalty. If you commit this type of crime by using children to do it for you, you will now face a lengthy jail term. So interesting, in the UK, they are now having the same sort of thing go on. Let's see. Year to year, in 2025, carjackings were 6.5% of all crimes in the UK. And in 2025, over 129,000 vehicles were stolen within the UK in a single year. Um, in in 2023, the last time this particular statistic came out, suspects aged between 10 and 14 involved in violent crime, including knife crime and robbery, rose by almost 40% compared to 3 years earlier in 2020. Rose by almost 40%, aged 10 to 14. That's a very small group of people, 10 to 14, and it rose almost 40% in 3 years. I'd like to know more about that. 7,512 children in the UK aged between 10 and 14 were suspected of violent crimes, including knife offences and robbery. In London in 2023, it represented a 38% increase compared to 2020. And a majority of it was violent crimes. Very interesting. Yeah, let me load this one and we'll have a look. According to the Met Police figures, 7,512 children aged between 10 and 14 were suspected of a violent crime. And 10 to 14 made up a higher percentage of serious offenses involving young people in 2023 compared to 2019. And they are saying in 2019, there were 56,734 serious offenses involving those aged between 24 and under. So they're saying, and then it fell in 2021 to 37,616. But then by 2023, it had gone up again to 41,147. So it's sort of like a bit of a roller coaster. But they seem to have a problem with young offending too. Here's a map for you that you guys can see. So, number of offences involving young people in London. So, just London, not the whole UK, split by age groups. So, in 2019, it seems to be like 2019 was a high point, and then it's come down a little in 2020, rose back up a little in 2021, and then rose again for 10 to 14 and 15 to 18. But 19 to 24 age group came down slightly. And then it looks like in 23, it also increased for everyone, but again, that 18 to 24 group. Why them in particular, and why are they stable? Don't know, but every other age group rose, including the 10 to 14 went up slightly. Same with the 15 to 18. So the most ones that they seem to have a problem with are 10 to 18. That particular age group makes up the highest rise in youth crime in the UK based on that data. Interesting. I know these shows are a little dry. Everyone's like, shut the fuck up, Ping. I went to bed an hour ago and you're still talking. It's all right. We'll get onto some updates in a minute. Um, Espionage said, let's see some socio-economic status of these kids will be a huge factor. Unfortunately, I don't have it. I will look for it, and if I can find it, I will bring it to you another time. Betsy said, so where do these kids learn to disrespect police? I would hazard to say there is a lack of reinforcement at home by the parents. I would think you might be right. I think it might be starting at home. And that's, yeah, some of the socioeconomic reasons may drive part of it, but there's obviously an underlying problem that maybe even socioeconomic reasons can't explain because some of these kids come from good homes. Some of them come from places where they're fed every night, they're clothed every night, they have parents who love them and show up to court every time they're in trouble. And it's like, why does it happen? Why is it still happening across those boundaries? So, Warner still said, was it this bad when parents used to do the punishing at home? We would have to look up, like, what was the youth offending in, like, the 70s or something like that. Let me see if I can find it. I don't know if I can. Huh. Interesting. It says here that in the 1970s and 80s, juvenile offending was more widespread and higher, along with higher detention rates than today. Interesting, but it was for different types of crimes compared to today. The types of crimes where people, youth, are held in custody now are crimes against person, as where before there used to be different types of crimes. And yeah, primary offenses in the 1970s were property theft, unlawful entry, and public disorder. In this today, like right now, it is aggravated burglary, car theft, and retail theft. Violence level, stable violence levels following a rise in the late 60s. And then today is significant rise in high harm crimes. Youth commit over 50% of all home invasions today, unlike in the 60s. Back then, in the 60s, it was a socioeconomic disadvantage and lack of family support that drove those crimes back then. But today they're saying it was mindless pursuit of notoriety or social media likes, posting and boasting. There you go. And then in the 1960s, males were the vast majority and female detention was rare. In right now, female youth offending has proportionally increased since 2010. So you're seeing more females be charged and be a part of the youth offending. So there you go. They had here. Let me see if I can get a snapshot of this so we can put it up on the screen for you because that's a very interesting sort of boundary. Let's see, where is it? Let's see if I can find it for you. There? Yep, there we go. There you go. You can see 1960s, 1970s, and you can see the difference between then and now. Uh, so different. There are differences. Interesting. You spoke about socioeconomic earlier. What like about motivations, but it seems to be that was more of a thing back then, but not as much. Although probably still plays a part in it today. But it seems to be pursuit of notoriety or social media likes and boasting on social media. SPL said, unfortunately, increased time or punishment will not help. Increasing sentence length does not deter crimes. Most US stats show that. We'll find out. Victoria will find out because they have brought in that law or those new legislation. They will figure it out, and we'll see if they end up having to wind it back. That is what the new bill is that they brought out. I want to say thanks to one of our followers. His name is Mark. He's the one who sent that in to us earlier today. Who is emailing Ping? Okay. Okay. There we go. Yeah, so I hope you found that interesting. I know it went on for a bit. I'm sorry about that. But I always find it interesting, like why are communities facing these type of problems and how does it differ around the world? I'm always very interested in how our lives, when they seem so similar between Australia and the UK and America, why are they so different? And what is driving it and things like that. All right. I don't know. I don't know if Trish did this one with you, but I'm gonna do this one. I want to go to Texas. I don't know if she did. Hopefully she didn't, because I want to do this one with you. Let me double check if this was an Othram one. Okay. I don't see it. Let's go to Texas. Lincoln man charged in 1990 Houston double murder after cold case breakthrough.
Major breakthrough in a 36-year-old cold case. The trail went cold in the killing of a young Houston couple. But this month, that trail led investigators to Nebraska.
This week, authorities made an arrest. A Lincoln man. His name is Floyd Parrott. KETV News Watch 7 Capitol Bureau Chief John Grinvalds was in court when Parrott made his first appearance.
A double murder put fear into young people and their parents.
The killing of a young couple shocked Houston in 1990.
What has become known as the Lovers Lane murders.
22-year-old Cheryl Henry and Garland Andrew Atkinson found with bound hands and cut throats.
What happened to Cheryl Henry and Andy Atkinson?
This week, authorities say the arrest of 64-year-old Floyd William Parrott may shed light on that. Parrott, who was living in northern Lincoln, was taken into custody. Lancaster County Attorney Pat Condon made an appearance on Thursday, reading out the charges.
Floyd W. Parrott, having committed the crimes of capital murder, multiple murder in the county or parish of Harris, state of Texas, and did then flee from justice on or about March 26, 2026.
Houston Police Department Homicide Division detectives and FBI special agents made the arrest.
I wish to talk to attorney. I do not wish to voluntarily return to Texas.
All right. Are you able to hire an attorney?
No, Your Honor.
Are you presently employed?
No, Your Honor.
Parrott is now in the Lancaster County Jail awaiting extradition.
At this point in time, that's what I'm going to do. Mr. Parrott, I'm going to hold you without bond as allowed under the Nebraska Constitution.
Detectives believe Parrott would have been 28 years old at the time of the killings and say a review of reports, DNA evidence, and supporting documents led them to him. We still don't know how long Parrott had been living in Lincoln.
Parrott's next appearance.
There you go. I'm going to stop it there. But what a case, right? Lovers Lane case from 1990, and they finally figured it out. I love when they do that. 36 years they've had to wait for an answer on who killed Cheryl Henry and Andy Atkinson. They were only 22 years old. I'm going to try to see if I can get a photo of the two of them. Yeah, here we go. They look like, your all-American couple. There you go. And to be killed in that way and left for them to be found like that, it's horrific. But finally, we have the absolute human filth that did it to them. And he's now going to have to sing like a canary. I want to take you over to KHOU. They got a little bit more on it, which I think will be great to listen to a little bit. If we can fast forward. Yep, here.
As part of our Missing Pieces series.
Cheryl Henry and Andy Atkinson, young and in love. It was the summer of 1990.
She died when she was 23. And so she's been gone longer than she was alive.
27 years later, the tears still flow easily.
That's her mom. Isn't that sad when you she said, she's been gone longer than she was on this earth, and they've been waiting for that long for answers. That's actually the wrong video. I'm gonna take you to the different one. That one's like 5 minutes long, and it's got a lot of that music in the background. We don't want that. We want to hear from the families, but not like that. Yeah, it's this one. Sorry about that.
So for the families of Cheryl Henry and Andy Atkinson, this moment has been decades in the making. And over the years, KHOU 11 has spoken with their loved ones who never stopped searching for answers. Michelle Choi joining us now live with how family members reacting to this incredible news. Michelle?
Hey there, Lynn. Yeah, for the first time since this development, we are now hearing directly from Cheryl Henry's family. Just a couple hours ago, her sister Meredith shared this statement with us, saying in part, "Today is a bittersweet day for our family. Cheryl and Andy were truly incredible people, kind, loving, and with so much life ahead of them. After nearly 36 years, we never imagined this day would come, and we are overwhelmed with emotion." The family also thanking law enforcement and those who have supported them through the years. And it's that emotion we've heard from the family for years as they search for answers. For 36 years, Cheryl Henry's family has carried the weight of that loss, holding on to memories and hope.
She died when she was 23. And so she's been gone longer than she was alive.
Over the years, we've spoken with Cheryl's family, including her mother, who passed away without closure in the case. This interview from 2017 when she sat down with our Sherman Chow.
This day, Sherman, I know that if they had let me go to Cheryl, I would have breathed into her and she'd be alive.
We also spoke with Andy Atkinson's family. His father, who also passed away before today's developments, told us they were haunted by unanswered questions about their son's final moments. And Andy's mother pleading with the public during an HPD news conference.
Cheryl deserved justice. They were tortured and knew they were going to die. So please come forward.
All searching for the same thing, answers.
I just loved her laugh.
And just 3 years ago, we sat down with Cheryl's sisters as the family pushed for new leads, even taking out a full-page newspaper ad, hoping someone would come forward.
They bound them, they tortured them, they assaulted them, and then they murdered them and just destroyed our family.
The pain still raw.
I literally walked through every minute I was with her that day and what I could have done different if I hadn't left, if she had gone home.
Yeah, your heart just goes out to those family members. Now, in that statement I shared, the family also asks for continued prayers as they move forward seeking justice for Cheryl and Andy. Len, back to you.
Good news, but overwhelming news for family members today. Michelle Choi, thank you.
What a sad case. It really is. I hope they get him back extradited. And yeah, get this guy behind bars. Let's see. They put out a cute little photo of them. I think you saw it in that video. Let me get it up on the screen. Floyd William Parrott, he is a bit of a parrot, has been charged with capital murder in the connection to the 1990 killings of Cheryl Henry and Andy Atkinson. Nearly 36 years, Cheryl and Andy's cold case known as the Lovers Lane murders remained unsolved. Parrott was arrested in Lincoln, Nebraska. There's that photo of the both of them. You see her mum, she never got to know who killed her daughter. never got to be there for that day. And they're always the hard ones in true crime, where it's like it almost comes, a few years too late, and they never get to know about who hurt their loved one. I hate when that happens. Um, autopsy results at the time said that Cheryl Henry had been SA'd and had neck injuries. Police found her nude body hidden under wooden boards with a $20 bill placed beside her, almost like treating her like a prostitute, almost being like, here's the $20, treating her like a working girl, almost like disrespectful. It's like really disrespectful. Like he did what he wanted to her, and then threw a 20 at her and left her there. It's really horrible. And I'm guessing the man, he died basically because he was there. I don't think he died for any particular reason. Probably, yeah, Andy Atkinson. I think he died just because he was there at the time. Yes, he is a monster. Let's see if we get a better photo of him. Come on, where is this guy? William Parrott. Let's see if we get a better photo of Mr. Parrott. I do have a mugshot of him. He does look like a freaking parrot. There you go. William Parrott. What do they say here? He's been charged with capital murder. Charges were filed. We know that. They're saying in August 23rd, 1990, in what investigators described as a secluded cul-de-sac, a security guard on routine patrol noticed a vehicle that had remained stationary for an extended period of time and approached the car. When the guard approached the vehicle, he found an unresponsive woman inside. Responding officers also located an unresponsive man. Both victims had suffered injuries to their necks and were pronounced dead at the scene. The case remained unsolved for decades despite joint efforts from the HPD Homicide Division, the FBI, and the Texas Attorney General. They're saying investigators said that continuous investigation ultimately led to a break in the case. In March 2026, detectives identified Parrott as a suspect and consulted with prosecutors in Harris County who accepted the charges. Parrott was arrested on Wednesday, March 25th in Lincoln and is currently awaiting extradition to Harris County. So he'll head back to Harris County. But they haven't said what led them to Parrott as a suspect. Would love to know. Was it DNA? I'm guessing there probably was DNA. Let's see. How detectives caught him. Let's see. Let's see. Interesting. While following up on a tip in late 2025, a detective reviewed a 1996 Houston PD report from a separate SA case in which Parrott was the suspect. In that case, while the complainant alleged SA, Parrott claimed the sex was consensual. DNA collected in that 1996 case was recently uploaded to CODIS, and they're saying, according to the affidavit, a detective reviewed multiple DNA and CODIS reports and learned that CODIS flagged a case-to-case hit. The male DNA profile from the 1996 sexual assault case matched the swabs collected during Henry's SA exam at her autopsy. CODIS strikes again. Wow. There you go. That CODIS national system where they put DNA into it. They got a hit. That's how they did it. That is very interesting that a woman's SA case from around the same time ended up helping solve a 36-year-old cold case. Wow, that is amazing. Apparently, he has a prior history in Harris County. In May of 1988, he was arrested and later placed on probation for impersonating a peace officer. Apparently, he was also arrested later in 1998 for convicted for carrying a weapon. There you go. So he's got multiple. He also, in 1990, there was an essay, and then the August 1990 murders. So in June, just a couple of months before he is alleged to kill these two people, he committed that sexual assault on that girl. That DNA was used to solve the murder 2 months later in August of 1990. That's great. Oh, wow. According to the Texas Department of Criminal Justice, Parrott was sentenced to 20 years in prison for impersonating a public servant in September of 1995. He served just over 3 years before he was released on parole in 1999. There you go. There you go. What a strange ending. The fact that it was another woman's essay that happened to her. It was the DNA from her case that got uploaded to CODIS that eventually provided a hit to Mr. Parrott here. Yeah, I'd say if he did one and then he committed the murders, I reckon there's other women out there that were a victim of him. I guarantee it. I think he's had more than just the three of them. Let's go. I want to watch this. This is him in court, by the way.
Floyd Parrott. Case is found at CR 26-3226. Mr. Parrott appears here on a Class O complaint. Mr. Condon.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Parrott, you are charged in the matter of found at docket 26X. It's CR 26-3226, I believe, with fugitive from justice. It is alleged in part that on about March 26th of 2026, Lancaster County, Nebraska, you then and there being were a fugitive from justice, and that said Floyd W. Parrott having committed the crimes of capital murder, multiple murder in the county or parish of Harris State of, you understand the nature.
Fled justice, and they're now demanding Nebraska authorities surrender you to the state of Texas to deal with these charges. Do you understand the claims and demands being made by the state of Texas?
Yes, Your Honor.
Here in Nebraska, you have the right to the issuance and service of a governor's warrant of extradition. You also have the right to test the legality of your arrest and detention by applying to the court for a writ of habeas corpus. And you also have the right to have an attorney assist you in any such proceedings. And if you are without the funds to hire an attorney, I would appoint an attorney to represent you. Do you understand you have those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Knowing that you have those rights, do you wish to waive extradition and return to Texas to deal with this matter, or do you want to talk to an attorney?
I wish to talk to an attorney. I do not wish to voluntarily return to Texas.
Well, he's not going to go back to Harris County anytime soon. It's going to be a bit of a fight. He declined to voluntarily return to Harris County, and he is going to fight extradition. I'd fight extradition if I was heading back to Texas on a double murder charge too. He'll eventually lose that particular court case. You know, he will not be able to put up a good enough fight to stop the judge from sending him back to Texas to answer those charges. He's just delaying the inevitable. Yeah, he what is he going to say? Oh, I didn't do it. All right, buddy, you're still going to have to go back to Texas and fight the crime there. You're going to have to go back, go to court, go to trial. You can't do that in Nebraska. You're going to have to go back to Harris County. So, and he'd know well and truly what it's like to be in jail in Texas. He was in jail for 3 years on that impersonating a public servant crime. he's already spent multiple years in a prison in Texas. So you can go to hell or go to Texas. That's your choice, sir. Go to hell or go to Texas. That is all you can do. A lot of people, if you're into true crime, would have heard before out of Texas. So to have that one sort of solved, now we'll deal with the court bit. It is great news. It really is. I'm just sad about her mum. The fact that mum never got to see the guy who did that to her is, just sad. It's really sad for her mum. And you saw her in that video. She was so devastated over her daughter's death, and she never got to see the day that her daughter's killer was caught. And that to me is the real tragedy here. The fact that her mum never got to find out. Look at the photos of the two of them. What a lovely couple. Here's another photo of them. Look at that one. They just look like your all-American sweethearts, right? They just look like every couple you see in a Hollywood movie. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, wow, that's good. Hey, I'll take 30 more cold cases being solved, please. Apparently, listen to this. They're saying here that William Floyd, tied Andy to a tree so he could listen to Cheryl scream while she was being R-worded and murdered. And then he had to know that after William Floyd was done, that he was going to be next, that he was going to be killed after she was. So this very sick guy put him through like psychological torture before his death. Apparently he was tied to a tree and nearly decapitated. Terrible. We've heard of other killers who do that. The Golden State Killer also did something similar like that. He would tie the husband or boyfriend up and make them listen to their wife or girlfriend being R-worded. And this guy did something similar, tied the boyfriend up, made him listen to what was going on with his girlfriend, and then killed him after. Yeah, his last name is Parrott. His full name is William Floyd Parrott. Not William Floyd, the other one. No, sorry, Floyd William Parrott. Yeah, so not the other guy, not the guy who was killed in Minnesota. Not that guy. A different one. A different William Floyd. This guy's Floyd William, sorry. I got the names the wrong way around. Because they call him William Parrott in the court documents. So he must go by William, but his full name is Floyd William Parrott. So he must use his middle name as his sort of like his normal name. Why he does that, I don't know. Some people just do, I guess. They go by their middle name. Let's see. I was trying to find another thing about him. Hold on. Well, we saw him in the court footage. I was hoping we might have had like a photo of him back then from when he was like when he was young. That's what I was hoping for. Because, he was a convict. He went to jail in the late 90s. So there should be a mugshot of him from when he went to jail. But I don't see one. Yeah, I don't see a mugshot from back then. Interesting. Normally it would be on the public record. Yeah. Oh, is that him? Oh my god, that might be him. I did not recognize him. Hold on, guys. I think I found it. Huh, it is him. This is him. Hold on, I'll show it to you. This is back when he was young. That's him right there. So that is your mugshot from when he went to jail for impersonating a public servant. Do you think that looks like him? I mean, I guess. People get old, I guess. There's his photo from today. Yeah, I'm gonna put this next to each other. And there's the photo from when he was charged back in the late 90s. Yeah, it was 30 years ago. It was a long time ago. Yeah, I know. You know what? The only thing I recognize is his nose. He's still got like a crooked nose, like he had a broken nose at some point. And in his photo when he's older, he still has the crooked bridge of the nose. He's still got it. So, yeah, interesting, right? Hey, old woman of the hills, how are you? Wonky Eye, is that what we're going to call him? Wonky Eye. Hey, Betsy, how are you? Dead eyes. He does have dead eyes, right? Well, there you go. That's what he looks like all those years ago when he attacked that couple in Lover's Lane. There you go. Yeah, I feel for the families. It must be horrible to wish you could have had this information 20 years ago, 10 years ago. You know, it's sad to me. I hope there's still family members left from both sides who can go to court and show William Floyd Parrott that people still care and they will show up to make sure he doesn't get away with it, and to know that, hey, we've been chasing you the whole time. We never gave up, and we're here to support our dead loved ones. And yeah, to make sure someone is there to witness him to be found guilty of murder. So I hope there still is people left behind who can go to court. Let's have a look. Apparently there was a sketch done. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, I have a sketch. You tell me if you think it looks like the same guy or similar. There you go. That is the sketch that is the sketch that was done. There you go. What do you guys think? Let's have a look. The artist tried. Nose on the left. That's what I thought. I was like, well, they might have got the nose right. Kathy said, hit that like button. Please help Ping get to the next trial by gifting any amount of donation that you can. I would appreciate it. I really would. The links are always in the chat. I don't like to sit here and ask for donations. I got too much news to do. We've got too much information to bring you. So I never ask because there's better things to do on our time every day. There's better ways to spend the time than to ask for anything. So yeah. But thank you, Kathy. Oh, wait. Kathy, thank you very much for her donation. That's very kind. Thank you, my friend. One of the longest supporters of the channel is Kathy. We've got a few. Unfortunately, we've lost a few over the years. People that can't stay up late anymore, and they just maybe watch on the replay, but decide, you know what? Since I'm not there live, I'm not going to help the channel out anymore. I can't change their minds, so I have to just accept it. But you know, I'm thankful for the people we do have that help the channel still. So thank you to those people. Let's have a look. I want to see, was there another one done? No, just those ones. Okay. It's very interesting. I wonder who gave that. Oh, that might have come. No, okay. I was like, that might have come from the girl who was SA'd, but now I don't think so. The sketches sometimes in the before computerization, they weren't always that good, were they? Let me see. There might be one where we can look at them all. Yeah, here we go. I got a better version for you. There you go. I don't know. I mean, you got to remember did he have hair back? Did that other photo have him with like hair? Let's have a look. Oh no, he was bald. Where did they get the hair from? Unless he shaved his head after he went to jail. I don't know. You guys have to let me know. Yeah. I don't know where they got like the comb over from. Not in 95, but maybe in 90. Maybe he did. It was a toupee. Maybe it was the can of hair. The can of hair that we saw last night. Maybe it was that, the spray on hair. Remember we saw that last night? It might be that. It might be that. Can of hair coming to you. You can spray on your hair. Maybe that's what it was. Look. Wait, when does that say? 16th of the 8th, 1990. Well, someone did it the day they were killed. I don't know. I don't think it looks that much like him. Especially when you compare it to that one. He's got like a squarer jaw. His head's more pointy, especially with the no hair. And he's got like a fatter head. He's got like a wider, more bricky head. Yeah, it's the can of hair. These photos will almost look like something from like a 1970s like I Love Lucy or something. Like that's the kind of styling that they have on that particular photo. It doesn't really look like him that much. So not surprised that they were unable to track him down via the photos. Egghead. SP1 said probably someone saw on the dark from far away. It could have been a witness who saw them in the alley. It does look a little bit like JB Cooper or JD Cooper. It does a little bit. Wait, where's that one? DB Cooper. Oh my god, maybe he is DB Cooper. I mean, when you look at the oh my god, it is a spitting image of him. Maybe he went on a commercial aeroplane and hijacked it and took all the money and then parachuted out of it. Maybe. He looks he looks like him. Well, the sketch one does. Not the others, but the sketch version. Oh my god, look, there he is. DB Cooper. It's uncanny. I've always thought this gray photo, this gray sketch here. All right. Stay with me. Stay with me. Imagine, you know Men in Black? You guys know Men in Black, right? We've seen that show. Will Smith and with the gun and they flash people and they lose their memory and all that type of thing. And then they have aliens that dress up as humans and things like that. I've always thought this particular sketch looks like someone out of Men in Black that is an alien pretending to be a human. Like every time I look at it, I go, that's an alien pretending to look like a human. Every single time, like, that's not a real human. That's an alien. Definitely. And I'm like, they're not looking for a human. They're looking for someone that from Men in Black. Every single time. That's exactly what I think every time I see that particular sketch. I never think they're human. I'm like, I've never seen a guy that looks like that. And I'm like, what's with the dark sunglasses? Trying to hide their alien eyes. That's what it is. Every single time. Fred Astaire. Yeah. Men in Black, fantastic movie. The first couple were good. The third one is okay. Third one's okay. Maybe they'll do a fourth one. Men in Black 4. If they'll ever give Will Smith a job again. Let's see. Did they do a fourth? Oh, they did. It was that shitty one with Liam Hemsworth or someone in it. Yeah, they did. They did do a fourth. It was not very good. That one. They did this one with as the fourth one. Wasn't very good. It wasn't very good. Maybe that's how he got far away. He went back on his spaceship for the Men in Black. Definitely. Definitely. There you go. There he is again. You could play the X-File music. Okay. All right. What time is it? Will Smith is trying to rebuild his career with a new show. I don't think anyone's interested. When was the last time you watched something from Will Smith and went, "Oh my god, that was a great fill in the blank"? Now, the only thing I can fill in the blank with was, "That was a great slap to the face." Like that's all I can do. I don't remember any TV show that he's done. Missy said, "I would fight it too. Harris County is the worst. Have mercy. My mom was a patrol officer. Jail is hell." There you go. Kim said, "Hope he can keep his hands to himself." Will Smith or the guy that is the convicted R-wordist? Both of them? Okay. Both of them can keep their hands to themselves or keep their names out of my mother effing mouth. No, All right. Let's get out of here. It's Friday night. By the way, I thought, why don't I show you some Easter products from Australia? And I was like, I wonder if you have these in America. So hold on. So I thought I would show you some of the Easter products going around Australia at the moment. This one's really popular. These are like Kinder eggs. These are like little Kinder. If you've ever had the Kinder bar that has like the cream stuff on the inside, the one that has like the cream bar, these ones are really good. These ones have like that milky inside to them. Mrs. Ping really likes these ones, these Ferrero Rocher ones. They're like a Ferrero in a Easter egg. She really likes these. And these ones are Ping's favorite just because it's Easter. Bueno Easter eggs. Bueno Easter eggs. These are so good. I don't know if you have these in America, but if you ever had a Bueno, these ones in an Easter egg form are so good. But yeah, they also do the Ferrero in an Easter egg. That's pretty cool. But we like all the Ferrero ones this year. A lot of the Australian ones are not as good this year. There's a lot of Cadbury and things like that. I don't think we have any yet, but this year, all the ones that are made in Italy seem to be like the tastiest ones, not the ones made from Cadbury. The Cadbury ones are not that great this year. They're very like they don't taste that good. They're a little weak. They're like just okay. But the European ones are really good. So I don't know if you have. I know you get Bueno in the chocolate bar in America, but I don't know if you ever had a Bueno Easter egg, nor a Ferrero Rocher Easter egg. So there are a couple of the ones getting around. We're gonna play Price is Right. Can any of you, without looking it up, guess how much these are? Can you guess without looking it up? One is 100 grams, and one is 140 grams. They don't give me the pounds on it, unfortunately. So 240 grams worth of Easter eggs all up. How much is this in Australian dollars? The popular answer seems to be $10. Sean, you don't get to play. Go away. You have a supermarket. These are not cheap. These ones are like $8 for this bag, and you only get about 6 or 7 eggs in it. These ones, full price, are $14. They're on special for $8 at the moment, but they're normally, I think, like $12 or $14 for this little bag. They are not cheap. So this one, where you get a whole bunch of eggs in it, they're actually only $9. So there you go. Easter is expensive. Get this, a Lindt bunny, like the Lindt bunny, the gold bunny, in Australia this year, $20. $20 for a Lindt bunny. Not the tiny one, the bigger one. But yeah. Oh. Yeah, prices are, although this week everything is quite cheap because it's getting close to Easter, and they're trying to get rid of all the stock now, and no one's been buying because they're expensive, like me either. The only reason I bought these is because they were on special. But there you go. See, a Lindt bunny, $20 this year. Very expensive. Did someone say that the Cadbury had changed? I agree. The Cadbury changed, and their Easter eggs don't taste like they used to. That's why I don't buy them anymore, because they don't taste like they used to. They taste weird, like they're full of oil and not chocolate anymore. So yeah, Lindt bunny. It's I think it's only like 200 grams. The big one is $14.99, $20 here. Yeah. So Espion said chocolate's expensive here too, but not quite as expensive as on the AU. Yeah, it's been a bit of a shock this year to see how much they've gone up. All right, I have to put these away. Hold on. All right. Also, check this out. A Mars bar, salted caramel flavor. Salted caramel Mars bar. So, if you like a Mars bar, they have a salted caramel flavored one here now too. Sean said at Kmart, staff could buy 2-kilo bags of broken eggs for $2. We have a friend that goes to the Cadbury factory in Ringwood in Victoria, and you can get, I think it's 5 kilos of broken eggs for like $20. So the ones that break on the conveyor belt, they just put them into 5-kilo bags and sell them for like $20. So I think we have family friends that are doing that this weekend. Espion said, wait, it's almost midnight here. Yes, take your night meds, okay? You like a Mars bar? By the way, I want to thank all the people who support the channel, and to the people who make a difference, even if they don't want to be named. I very much appreciate it. Let me check here. All right. Your Easter stuff doesn't get reduced until after Easter. Ours doesn't either. But I think because it's not been selling, because the prices are too high, they've lowered the prices this week to try and get people to sell. I mean, to get people to buy. Yes, thank God it's Friday. I'll be back tomorrow night. We're going to hang out on Friday night. I'm not sure what we're going to do, but we'll have some fun. Maybe we'll do some more Easter, have some Easter fun. And then next week is Good Friday, Easter long weekend. So you can hang out with me all long weekend, and we'll do some Eastery type things. Maybe Ping will wear rabbit ears. I don't know. We'll see. But until then, until tomorrow night for Friday night, TGIF, I will see you then. Good night, everyone. Bye.